You're literally talking about my weight. That's misogyny.
There are few people on the planet who can do what Tophiachu has managed to in the span of 2 short months. That being to take all the sympathy and goodwill that people who previously could not stand her had given her, and somehow found a way to flush it all down the toilet, making people that already disliked her now do it fanatically. Back on March 11th of this year, Tophiachu posted her infamous Instagram story announcing that a carjacker had forever changed her life, shooting both her brother and her mother in a deadly carjacking while he was evading the police, where her brother, Donald Slidell, passed away, and this also left her mother in critical condition in the hospital. There was no predicting this happening, and just like when Bob Chandler died with Chris Chan, people almost universally made the decision not to do anything that would mess with Tophia. And you know what? That was the right call. To help pay for the funeral expenses, friends of Donald set up a GoFundMe so that way the family would be able to pay the funeral expenses that eventually made over $7,000. Support for Donald Slidell's funeral expenses. Our friend Donald was killed in the morning of March 11th. I hope this page can help provide a proper burial and some money for his sister and mom who have been without a home. His mother was shot and is still in the hospital. Prayers and donations are appreciated. Updates. March 13th, 2025. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your incredible support. Whether you've donated, shared, or sent words of encouragement, it truly means the world to everyone that knew Donald. Thanks to your generosity, we've reached $5,000 so far. These funds will go to funeral expenses, medical bills, and towards helping the family of Donald rebuild their life. If you haven't already, please consider sharing this page with friends and family. It makes a huge difference. Again, thank you so much for your kindness and generosity. With gratitude, many of Donald's friends. Remember that the main thing mentioned in that GoFundMe was that it was for Donald's burial, and some of the money would go to the mother and Tophia. At this time, Tophia was in a pretty bad spot. Her father was incarcerated, her mother was on life support, and her brother was dead. So you would think that she would not have time to go online and argue with her trolls. Well, if you thought that, you would be wrong and you don't know Tophia. Tophia would immediately start fighting with people on TikTok and Instagram, and would blame everybody that she could think of for this happening. With Tophia talking about the trolls in particular, let's listen to this one. She blames the trolls for being the reason that she had to sleep in that car. Let's really focus on that one because we're gonna find out later that that was a lie.
I saw a comment. Someone just left a comment saying that I'm blaming trolls. First of all, who was keeping us from having a safe place? Can you please answer that? Because we couldn't have a safe place because people kept causing us to get kicked out of places. If that's not putting us in danger, putting us in the elements where there was a bunch of high crime, I don't know what is. I hate when people don't want to take accountability for the stuff that they do.
And before we move on, I want to say that Tophia also claimed the internet was responsible because they manifested it into reality using their words.
Okay, so you spoke that into existence. I tell you, words have power, right? You were wishing for this to happen to me.
By April 2nd, some people started worrying that Tophia was misusing the GoFundMe money. Tophia's immediate response was going to be threatening them that she was going to sick the cops on them and have them lose their jobs.
For you guys trying to say, well, we need to get in contact with the person about mishandling money, you continue and I will report you to the police for harassment. And trust me, because of the situation, they will take this very seriously. If you think nothing's going to get done, well, something's going to get done right then and right now, because I am so sick and tired. Leave people alone. This is your last warning. You don't need to know where any money is going anywhere. It's none of your business. If you don't want police showing up to your job, because I'll make sure police show up to your job just so your job knows what you're doing, or your house. I would suggest you leave me alone. Enough is enough.
This is probably the least serious part about this video, but Tophia also made sure to let people know that K-pop, you know, South Korean pop music, actually comes from black people.
Even though I literally told y'all that K-pop is black music and that they took our music and made it into K-pop, no one really want to listen to me, but that's okay.
Fast forwarding to April 14th, and Tophia was caught red-handed leaving the mall after a shopping spree by a user on Reddit.
I just done fucking saw Tophia!
These are some of the comments posted to that video. So, Ross and TJ Maxx and not groceries or payments for a place to live? They sell food at Ross and TJ Maxx. 4-year-old bags of popcorn and weird candy you don't see at any other store. That's food. Well, look at her, not a care or worry in the world. All out in public, and not even fearing for her life. Remember, a few months ago, she said she can go anywhere in her vehicle and we can't. So much for buying some Hot Wheels. This is where your dono money is going, Tophia defenders. This is why she hasn't been on the internet. She has money being given for doing nothing. Disgusting. She always said that if she got money, or came into money, she would never go live again, so this doesn't shock me. Caught red-handed splurging that donation money. She does not give a fuck about her brother. For real, it really rubs me the wrong way how she constantly refers to him as my dead brother and y'all killed my brother. Well, over a week later, and Tophia would finally address the allegations that she had been dipping into the GoFundMe money, saying that she didn't have access to it yet.
Some of you guys need to clean out your ears with Q-tips before you start running your mouth, because how am I scamming people out of a GoFundMe I don't have? Do you know that the GoFundMe is stuck in the process session that is processing, that I can't even set up an appointment to bury my brother because people wanted to report it? Oh, whoops. That's why my brother hasn't been buried. Let's talk about that, because my brother hasn't been buried because now it's stuck in processing. So let's talk about the money I spent at Ross and TJ Maxx's. People want to be in my business and pocket watch. You know, I want to say F-U-C-K-E-N, but I can't cuss because TikTok will take this down.
In the middle of all that happening, Tophia tried to say that someone else needed to lay off the Big Macs. Tophia, you're a class 3 obese person. You have no room to talk whatsoever.
Let's address this person, shall we? You see this person right here? Okay, so since you want to be a victim, okay, I can help you with the crime victims unit, right? And I could get you in touch with them and they can help you get DoorDash and all your needs met, right? Sorry, but there's like loud noises where I'm at. But anyways, let me tell you something. You want to be a victim so bad, I will let them know that you're a victim of eating too many Big Macs, okay? That's what you're a victim of. A victim of eating too many Big Macs. That double chin should say all that it needs to say.
Getting serious again, let's listen to this. The state paid for the service and cremation of Donald Slidell. These are Tophia's words, not mine, saying that they paid for the whole thing.
It takes thousands of dollars to bury someone, and let's talk about what the state paid. The state paid for the service and the cremation. They did not pay for the burial because they pay only up to $6,000. You know what $6,000 is? That's for a service. Do you not know how much it is just for a service and cremation? Yeah, it was close to $6,000. So the thousands of other dollars, which is like 4,000 something, more than that probably. I don't know, when we get down there, we'll see. To bury someone on top of that. So that's like a good $10,000 just for everything together.
So Tophia's brother at this point was both cremated and he also had a funeral service. But that wasn't enough. Tophia also wanted Donald to be buried because she was afraid that somebody was going to try and steal his urn like he was the idol in Raiders of the Lost Ark. But oh well, I suppose you can still bury an urn or have it entombed. And then Tophia would never have to worry about the urn getting stolen again. Plus, the GoFundMe money would actually be put to what it was meant for, the burial. Well, your robot did a little bit of digging, and if she wanted to get a pretty nice burial, it would only cost her about $3,500. So with that out of the way, let's make sure we have something understood. Money is not an issue here so long as Tophia does not scam the GoFundMe money and use it on things that it was not meant for whatsoever. And get this, after that shopping spree that Tophia had, she ended up having to beg for money on Instagram because she needed $5 to pay her phone bill. Can someone send me $5 to Cash App to help pay my phone bill? Look, I know what people are gonna say. I went shopping with cash, can't reload my card, cause I don't have my bank card. It's in evidence. I have to make important calls and get a hold of people. And for those saying, get a job, I can't work. What part of trauma do you not understand? I have trauma. I can't work. I have trauma. What was your excuse then for not having a job since 2016, Tophia, when you got fired from Dunkin' Donuts for smelling so bad? Well, about a week later, Tophia showed off her brand new shoes, and she made sure to let people know she did not buy them and instead got them for free, saying that they were a sample from the TikTok shop. This could be true, but Tophia is not a very reliable narrator, so I'm not sure.
So I requested these. These are a free sample. I did not buy these, even though it's on my phone. I bought these. But I'm excited to open them and show you what's inside. Let's see. So I got the black and pink ones. I don't know, but I like these ones. So I'm going to wear these with my outfits because I like to match my shoes with my outfits.
Warning, if you are squeamish, look away now. Tophia would then start posting thirst trap videos of herself. It's like the saying goes about lipstick and pigs, but unfortunately this was only the beginning. Well, come May 17th, and Tophia would magically get a $50 makeup kit box for free.
It's a pretty big box. I can't show you, like, because, safety reasons, but here's the package. And here comes the, she bought it. No, I didn't. I received this package for free. Thank you for sending me the sample. I'm really excited to open it. So let's open it and show you what's inside.
Tophia was seen the very next day as well, wearing shoes that looked like they were ripped straight out of Kingdom Hearts. Unless your only other option for footwear are those toe shoes or nothing at all, there is never a justifiable reason to wear Crocs. Ever. Now, I think it's easy for most of us watching to remember that Tophia is not a good person. But what if I told you she's worse than you could have ever imagined? Tophia's uncle would come forward with some updates about the family that we would have never gotten otherwise and posted this. Also, we gave them a chance to stay there, and they chose to go with their mom and dad out to the streets. So that was their decision, and they're old enough to understand what was going on. She likes to play the victim, when she's actually someone that takes advantage of everybody just to get as much free stuff as she can. She should be ashamed of herself. Another shameful thing about this is that she refuses to let us talk to her mother. We try to call her because her mother doesn't have a phone as far as we know. I tried her old phone number, or sending her messages, and there is also no reply. I think her mother would have a whole different opinion. Marie knows the entire truth about what happened, and Tophia doesn't want to let her talk to anyone. Are you aware Tophia also makes fake accounts pretending to be her own mom? That's diabolical. That's stupid. They were put out of their grandma's house because their dad was ripping off my mother, and they had money for a place to live. Just because their dad chose to spend it on himself and not them, don't blame everyone else. Hey Sophia, yeah, you were there and grandma died. Why don't you tell everybody as soon as she died how you wanted the rings off her fingers? Explain that, you horrible person. But wait, that can't be right. Tophia said that the trolls were ultimately responsible for the carjacking because they were the reason why her and her family had no choice but to live on the streets. She said that the reason her brother was shot and killed was all because people on the internet were responsible for them being homeless, causing that situation to happen to them. Well, Tophia would later say that her mom and brother wanted to live with the uncle, and somehow she was the one that got to make the decision for all three of them that they weren't going to do it.
Literally, okay, so my mom did want to stay with him when we were in the car, and my brother did too, and I was like, no, why? So he could find some reason and say get out. Like, it's not happening.
This is what Tophia would say immediately after the uncle got involved, however, trying to make him out to be the bad guy and then justified not inviting him to the funeral. Oh yeah, rather than let Donald's friends and family say their final goodbye, Tophia instead cherry-picked who got to show up and then claimed that it was someone else's idea who she would not name.
And I do want to address a few things. I don't want help from a certain uncle saying like, oh, you didn't contact your uncle, he wanted to help you. I'm not giving him updates because frankly, I'm pissed off. Like, you wait 2 days to respond to me to see how your sister's doing, that's crazy. But for them to make a whole paragraph and say they're mad that I'm not updating them either, let me make this 100% clear. I never asked you to go to the park that day that it happened. You know who you are. I didn't give you updates because if I would have invited you to that service, trolls would have showed up, and guess who would have told them? I'm sorry. For my family's safety, my family advised not to invite certain people. Literally update anyone that I feel has not even been there for me in my whole situation. And I do want to address some other things because it's really bothering me. That said person that is coming out, now you all guys are posting stuff about them and their fiance. I do not want to be included with them and their fiance saying they're all trash. Why are you talking about them? Don't mention me in that Reddit around that person. I'm so sick and tired of being mentioned.
I want to make this crystal clear. Tophia and her family had the option to have a roof over their heads, and rather than take up the uncle on the offer, Tophia was the one who ultimately said no. And even though both her mother and brother wanted to live with him, because the mother was not willing to leave Tophia alone to fend for herself on the streets, and Donald wasn't willing to leave both of them there either, they both followed her. I would never say that that meant Tophia was responsible for what happened that night. Nobody could have ever predicted that happening. But I want you to remember, she has blamed random people on the internet for being responsible for them living in the car, when in reality, she was the one that made that choice. But it wasn't just the uncle that came out of the woodwork with some truth bombs on Tophia's behavior, because this is what Donald's girlfriend would have to say. This has been eating at me for a few months. I haven't said anything, but I feel I gotta get this out. She told people I didn't care that he's gone the day it happened. I was shaking when she told me, "Are you going to hide the fact that you asked me to go to the park that morning when you called me? Or hide the fact that you asked me to go to the cruise they had for your brother. But because I couldn't make it to the park or the cruise, you left me in the dark and wouldn't tell me anything." There's so much I could say right now, but knowing you're hiding things from a lot of people, I think you need to start telling the truth. I've kept silent for too long. I've kept things in. You couldn't keep me updated on things. I had to find out on the news about him. And because people started to call and message me while I was breaking down, "You've been keeping me in the dark, girl. Start telling the truth already." No one else was allowed to be a victim in this. Only Tophia could get any sympathy for her brother's passing. She is such a piece of shit that she wouldn't even tell her mother's side of the family what hospital her mother was in when they rightfully wanted to see her in a time where no one really knew if recovery was going to happen. All so that way she would have to be the intermediary between them all. She is a controlling freak. Come April 21st, and Tophia would do a proper live stream this time, showing off her new hairdo. Not only did she bleach it, but she did a bad job, might I add, and said that she was going to sue GoFundMe for the money. Oh, and get this, she also brushed off her uncle and that whole side of the family wanting to know what hospital the mother was in, and justified not giving them any updates.
What did I do to my hair? I dyed it. Why? Because I needed a change. Yes. Oh, well, I kind of missed the spot, but I got some advice from some people. I'm gonna try to see if I can get legal help because that's ridiculous. GoFundMe can see that the money is sitting there. GoFundMe knows that it's being not used, but yet they're withholding my brother from being buried, and I don't like that at all because it's not fair to me, considering the fact that I haven't used any GoFundMe money. And I have a right. I'm gonna sue them because at this point, this is ridiculous.
It's hard to truly understand how narcissistic some people can get. Everything with Tophia is all about her. Her brother died and her mother will never be the same, yet she is the one we're supposed to feel sorry for. Her family offered them to have a roof over their heads, and Tophia was the one that made the ultimate decision to keep them on the streets. And while her brother, actually, worked for an income trying to change that, Tophia instead would be a human leech who saw filling out a job application as too much work. Not only does Tophia want to get all of her clothing for free, but she will complain that she has trouble finding them in 6XL that are up to her standards. And if you say that she should lose weight if she wants to be able to find more clothes, she will actually say that's not an option.
You know what's annoying is that I tried to look for a birthday outfit for free samples for my birthday, and the only sizes they have were small sizes for free samples, not plus sizes. And one of these companies like has plus size women, but your plus sizes only go up to a 3X. It's so annoying at the fact that like I cannot find plus sizes for like my birthday thing, because look, I don't got money to buy anything. I was trying to get free samples. For people getting mad saying that, well, maybe just lose weight. No, that's not the option. I'm so sick and tired of maybe lose weight, maybe do this, maybe do that. No, it is so annoying, and I'm so pissed off because I couldn't find anything in plus size, and to literally suggest that your option is to lose weight, that's crazy. If that's your option, then I feel bad for you.
Tophia is a human leech whose sole purpose in life seems to be complaining about the actions of others while brushing off anything that she herself does. Despite what Tophia might think, this is not a movie. No one is coming to save her, and whatever happens with this GoFundMe money, whether she gets it or not, the ending is going to be the same. Tophia will end up alone in this world, having pushed away everyone that ever cared about her with only herself to blame.
Joey got it for the people of America. I am never going to financially recover from this.